Hi there, this is Art and Such with a special by request video tutorial for a rainbow loom Orianthi, a rocker, guitarist, performer. I've picked an outfit kind of at random from some of the outfits she wears, but you can feel free to change up the colors and use this design with a different set of clothing. For the skin, we need a skin tone, black beads or black bands for the eyes. I'll be putting these little ones on with a piece of dental floss. I've got black, white, red bands for the rest of the outfit. And for the hair, I'll be using a gold band, a thick gold band. If you don't have that or want a different effect, you can use yellow or orange, or you can take some white pieces and mix them together with the gold to get that streaked appearance. So we're going to start with the arms, and for that you're going to need a single skin tone wrapped 3 times on the hook, and we're going to pull it onto 5 sets of double bands of your shirt or coat color. I'm using black, as I said. So we're going to pull it over 2 bands, put the other end back, grab another 2, pull it all on top. Third set of doubles, just going to straighten the hand there. Fourth and fifth. Now the next one I'm going to make thicker. I'm going to use 4 bands and double and pull them through. And this is to give that kind of thicker shoulder pad appearance. But it does get a little covered by the hair, and you might wish to conserve bands, so you can use just the 2 bands if you want, or you can use 4. And we put on 1 more set. And this will be the set we use to attach it to the body. And I'm going to do 1 more of these arms with you. Take a single, wrap it 3 times, and we pull it onto, again, 5 sets of double bands. 3, 4, and 5. For the next one, if you want thicker shoulders, you use 4 bands. If it's all the same to you, you can use only 2. And the last set is 2 bands again. Let's go to the loom. I have some of this set up for you already, and I'll walk you through it all. This way you get the whole layout to start. We come down 3 times in the center with double skin tone bands. Follow that with 2 sets of double white bands. So 2 white bands here from the 4th to the 5th peg, and 2 from the 5th to the 6th peg. Put on double red bands, 2 red bands, and then the last set, going from your 7th peg down to your 8th peg down, is double black. Take 2 black bands and bring them down to one side, and 2 bands down to the other, from our second center to our second left, second center to the second right. And on either side you'll need 3 sets of double black bands, 1 set of double red, and 1 more set of double black. And this takes you down to your 7th peg on the side. And then we're going to come in from that 7th side to the 8th center with double black, and likewise from the left inwards. So I'll leave this here a second. You can pause and fill that in. And when you're ready, grab your arms and place them on the 2nd peg down on either side. Just transfer the bands which are on your hook and make sure you get them all. And on the other side, we're going to do our legs, and for that we need black again, or leg color of your choice. We're going to take double bands and fill up the rest of the loom to the bottom on either side. If you want her legs to be a little bit thinner, tighter, you can always take single bands and double them over, stretch it out, twist it around, but it is going to make for very, very slim legs. And let's do the right leg. we need boots. You can really use any boot design that you like. I'm going to do the kind that Kate Schultz does. Take 2 single black bands, boot colored bands, wrap them 2 to 3 times on the hook. I'm going to keep mine a little loose and just do it 2 times this time. Pull it onto 2 bands, and before we replace, I'm going to continue holding this tight with my left hand, left fingers. Hold on to the hook with my left. With my right hand, I'm taking 2 more bands, putting them on the hook and wrapping them twice. Then I turn this back, put the other end back over, and we're going to pull this all onto 2 black bands. And this goes onto the bottommost peg on one side. And then we'll make another for the other side. 2 bands wrapped 2 times, 3 times if you want it tighter. Pull it onto 2 bands. Switch hands, grab 2 more, twist them twice over the top of the hook. And bring it back, replace the end, pull these all onto double black. This goes on the bottom right. You can see I'm sort of turning it out sideways. You can adjust it later, but I like to try and put it on the direction I want it to face to begin with. We'll need to cap off our center black right in the middle here. Take a single and wrap it at least 2 times. I'm going to do mine 3 times. 1, 2, 3. If your band is stretched out, you can always do it a little extra. We need some holding bands, and we'll start at towards the top here, I think. I'm just going to use white for this first one. We're looking at the 3rd peg down, stretching it across, and bringing it up over the 3rd in the center. Repeat that for the next 2 underneath. Triangle formation here. We want a single red for the next one. This is our 6th peg down, and 1 more black underneath that, and we're ready to loop up the body. So because I'm really bad about forgetting this, we're going to start in the middle, get under the cap, find the top 2 bands. There's 1. And bring them back to the right side where they came from. Go back in, get the next 2, and bring them to the left. And the last ones are going to be pulled up and looped upwards once. Now you can pretty well pick the side you want to start with or the row you want to start with, but we do want to make sure that the center row gets looped last in this section here. So I'm going to just go under one of my legs here, get under the foot, grab the bottom band, and pull them up and over the next. And for each of these sets, we're going for the double bands, bringing them up and over the peg above. It's a pretty standard looping procedure here. On this peg we have a number of bands. You only want the bottom 2. You can pull them out to the side if it helps you, turn your loom to another angle, grab them one at a time, whatever gets you there. Keep going up, push back your holding bands as you go, because if you loop up your white here, we're going to lose all of our connecting pieces. Just as I say this, look at the mess that made. That's okay. Easily repaired. And back to it. We'll grab our next one, push back that white, come up once, and remember we want the center ones on top, so we're going to do these diagonal ones and get them on there first. Time for the next leg. Get under the foot, loop her up. And we're going again to that second peg from the top where our arms are sitting, and then we'll come inwards, and we'll be ready for our middle section. So go back under that black right in the middle here. We looped up once. We're gonna loop up now to the end or the top of the loom. Straight line, straight row. And the last two are gonna be the hardest here, but turn it to the side, look for those skin tones, push everything else back, and get those up and over. We can take this off the loom now. You're going to be putting these bands from the top peg onto your hook, but first I want to loosen this up a little bit so we don't have stretched out or broken or crazy bands. I should mention just while I'm doing this, I haven't made a guitar to go with this, but I know Elegant Fashion has a really nice pattern for that, or a tutorial. I'll put that in the link for those of you who want to get a guitar in to add to the effect. Okay. Put your hook through those bands on the top peg, carefully remove, straighten out, give a little stretch. Alright, and we are ready for the head. So let's come back to the loom, same configuration, 2 of your hair colored bands, top center to the top right. If you're using white angled, you can put 1 of each. Or you can, I don't know if you'd get the same effect alternating them from peg to peg, but you can play around with that for sure. We're going to do 2 down top center to the top left. And come down 3 times on either side with your hair color, double bands. Come down 2 times in the center with double gold, first to second pegs and second to third pegs. Then we'll switch to skin tone again, come down twice with our skin tone in the center. 2 skin tone from the 4th right to the 5th middle, and likewise 4th left to the 5th middle. We're closing that up. We'll put on our holding bands, and you're going to need doubled over bands to keep the face nice and tight. So take your band, twist it around, and this goes from the 4th peg to the 4th peg over the 4th center. We'll repeat that on the set just above it. And for the upper piece, if you're using like these are really thick bands, so it's not gonna stretch as much. I'm just gonna put this across once. But if you're using something like white, you might want to double it over. And if you want it to be a little thinner, you can double this top one over. Okay, let's make our eyes. If you're using bands, you can just wrap them right onto your hook. 2 black bands or dark bands pulled, wrapped 3 times each and then pulled onto a single skin tone. If you're using beads with the small hole, I've misplaced my dental floss now, how about that? Okay, there we are. If you're using beads with the smaller hole and they won't fit on the hook for direct transfer, you can take a wire or piece of dental floss, thread it through both beads. Place one end through a skin tone band, bring it back over and through from the opposite direction, and it should just slide on. Your eyes are going to go from the 3rd peg down to the 3rd peg down across, and you want to get in between the beads and bring them apart. If you want to keep them really separate, you can put your hook through and bring one side of this over the peg just below or just above. I'm just going to keep mine as it is for now. Let's put our body on. We're going to do a little looping, and then we will make and add our hair chains. Take your body off your hook, put it onto the 5th peg down in the center, and we're going to stretch it a little so you can see this. We need to go in, get our top 2 bands and bring them over to the left. Very carefully hold down the bands here so you don't lose them. Go in again under the neck. Next 2 are going to the right, and the last 2 are going up. You can actually loop pretty well all the way up. I'm gonna do that very last peg or loop when we've done the sides. So I'll go up 1 time, 2 times, try and keep the band between the eyes, and 3 times. I'll come back to this one, and we're gonna put some hair chains on. You might have to play around with the length a little if you're using bands with a different elasticity. For these, we need a single wrapped twice and 5 single bands. So pulled over 1 single, over 2 singles, 3, 4, and 5. Place it on your 4th peg down on top of the skin. And we're gonna make, for this I did make 4 sets. If you'd want it to be really thin, you can just make 1 for either side. I'm gonna do it thick again, so I'll be making another 3. I'll do them with you, but we'll move a little faster. Single wrapped twice, pulled onto 5 single bands. 3, 4, and 5. For the other side, and I'm going to make 1 more to go on those same pegs, just on top. So press these down a little bit, we don't want them to pop off on us. Get some more bands here, and again we go single wrapped twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place it on the 4th peg down again on top of your other chain, top of the first chain on that side. And here we go, last time. Single wrap twice, pulled onto 5 single bands. If you're using double bands, it's going to be really, really thick. So just be aware of that. And if we did this with doubled over bands, it would be really, really thin and a little bit stiffer. This gives us a bit of room to work with. Okay, we're going to loop up the sides and get these 2 bottom gold from underneath the hair chains and loop them up and over. I'm going to have to move everything to the side here a little to see this better. Okay, that looks like the right ones. There we go. Push back the bands holding on the eyes in your triangle bands and loop up the next 2. Push back the triangle band, next 2, and come inwards diagonally. Other side, same thing. Get the bottom 2. I think I might have to turn this around a little. Nope, we're okay. The funny thing about the gold bands I find is they look just a tiny, tiny bit different when they're stretched out. It makes the color look a little bit paler. It has more of a shine when it's just sitting loose. Come in diagonally, come up 1 more time in the middle, and then we've got all her bangs, all her hair done. And use a final last single hair color band to secure this. Put your hook through the top peg and get through all those bands. Keep the open part facing away from you and grab your single, pull it through, put one end over the other, and we're gonna pull one side over the other there to create our slip knot. Carefully remove, and then we'll secure our hair, make some adjustments, and we're almost done. So right now she looks a little bit bizarre. Part of that is the eyes, and they need to be pulled to the side. So grab it on either side, give it a little tug. We have a band sticking out from the top of the hair. We need to hide that at the back. So I'm going to slide that under a couple of bands and put it on to a C-clip. And slide that in. Turn it around. Now her hair is very loose. If you like the loose look, you can leave it as it is. If you want a little more control, what we can do is come through the third white on the side, grab a section or just a piece out of each of the gold hair chains. So now we have 3 bands on there. We bring a gold band through all of those. And as I say it, I've lost one. Let's do that again. Okay, take a gold band or a hair colored band, bring it through, put one end over the other, and this goes onto a C-clip at the back, and you see now it's kind of controlled. If you want it tighter up top, you can attach it higher up as well. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to continue with my hook, grab the third white down, the last white, go through a piece of each gold chain. Okay, so this is there. This is what you have. And we're going to take one more gold, slide it through, put it on the end of the hook and bring it back to the back through those 3, one end over the other, and we can connect our last 2 together and place those on a C-clip. And that last part there is totally optional. You can always, as I say, leave it loose. Alright, there she is. By all means, make a guitar, have some fun, play around with the colors, do some experimenting, and thank you for watching.